Alrighty, welcome back folks. Today's Tutorial Tuesday was postponed a little bit, but we're here now. Let's turn my music down a little bit. I was rocking out a little bit earlier. So, due to popular demand, I was getting a lot of requests for perspective and proportions, but I think it's really good to practice on specific things, and one of them that I really need to practice on is feet. So we're gonna practice feet today. I'm gonna kind of get you guys an idea of how I start planning stuff out, especially if I'm having issues with stuff like feet. Sometimes it does take me longer to work on these kind of things, and it's good to start understanding about how images or circles and squares, all these things can start connecting and making what you need to make, and that's putting it into perspective. So that's what we're going to try to do, okay? Tutorial Tuesday. Whoops. No, we want that one. There we go. Foots. Feet practice. Okay. So what I'll usually do if I'm having a lot of issues with stuff, and I mean a lot, I have these problems sometimes. Let me also tweet really quick. Okay, so yes. Yes. The foots, the feeties, the feet fots. Either A, what I'll start off with feet is that I will either A, look up some pictures of them if I'm like, oh my god, like I'm trying to draw this foot and I'm like, okay, so like here's like the calf and the ankle and stuff, and then I'm like, there's a club. No, that's not. No, we need to like maybe like this. There's they kind of, no. And then I'm like, wait, the toe, and more toes, and what? No, that doesn't work. So what I'll end up doing is I'll look up photos of feet. I'll just sit there and try to draw feet for a while. Feet. With 2 E's. It's kind of weird, but sometimes just looking at feet or looking at things that you're having problems with just really helps. Even if looking in a mirror of your own feet and going, how do I draw these? And this is where you just start practicing. This is also part of last week's Tutorial Tuesday, where we went over like best sketch practices, which is literally just draw everything, and if you need to, just start figuring stuff out. So I have a picture of feet. Google feet. Woo! Feet! What is this thing? So it goes kind of like this, and then you got the foot here, and then the toe, and more toe kind of makes this shape, and kind of makes this shape, and then kind of makes this shape. Okay, so not perfect, but a general idea, right? So you're like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, but why, how do I get to that point without looking at a picture? Well, let's see here. We've got the heel joint here, and then the actual, like, heel, right? And so try to draw through stuff like, okay, well, the heel's probably going to go down here. I've got maybe like a circle here. This is the calf. This is the... So this kind of connects into this, right? Kind of erase that out a little bit. And then we can go down to like this, and then this is pretty much where the toes start. So this makes like a square. That's kind of a circle for that. We can draw through that. And then we've got a circle toe. You can do like a tube, maybe. Tube. Hey, look, tubes. 4. And the 5th one's kind of crimped in here. right? So, okay, we've got, like, sausage tubes, right? I know it seems silly, but just kind of make a game out of it. Like, okay, well, we've got, like, all this stuff here, and then got kind of a, almost like a joint right here, so we can do it kind of like this. Start turning it into something that makes sense to you, and just start practicing that, being like, okay, cool, I just turned this into, like, something that makes sense. So now, if I want to draw a foot that's up in the air, like this, I'm not even going to look at a picture for this. Let's see if my own theory comes into handy here, right? So, we want a foot kind of like this, right? We've got toes kind of like that. This is big toe here, right? So, we've got, okay, well, this is like this, so it'd be like, that's the bottom part, right? We've got our joint, and then it kind of swervies out a little. This kind of our... Oh yeah, hey look, this circle now suddenly from the circular joint here, I've suddenly got that other little circle for the ankle. Right? So then I can kind of start erasing a little bit and seeing what I get out of it. Got sausage tube, sausage tube, sausage tube, sausage tube. Yay. Hey look, I kind of made a foot. Now the bottom of the feet are also a little weird, so this is kind of a little wrong still. So you gotta kind of look at it again and go like, okay, well, I know that most people have arches. Me, I don't have an arch. I'm duck feet. So what if they are flat-footed? Okay, well, they still kind of come in like that, but it's a little bit more flat. Think about your subject. And just kind of think about it like, okay, well, this joint right here was for the actual, like, part where your toes connect. So you have, like, another kind of just, like, padding for your feet. That's right here. I'm really bad. I don't know anatomy to save my life, so I make things up that make sense to me, just so I kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So, excuse me, for all of you who are very good with foot anatomy, I am sorry. This is terribly bad of me to be saying stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. But let's see. I'm gonna do that. Toe kind of comes in like that. And scribble. That's what we do. So we got like peas. Yeah, we'll call them peas. Peas for toes. Tootsie tots. That big toe needs to be bigger. Big toe. Foot. And so we're kind of making a foot. Not the best foot in the freaking world. But hey, it kind of made sense. Now let's actually start practicing a real bottom of the foot. Eh? Alright, feet bottom. Oh, which actually, I was kind of close. Considering, I don't know, hey, that kind of makes sense. So let's try to make sense of this a little bit more. Foot bottom. Let's erase that. My last video was in process, A10. By the way, to you two people who will be hearing this later, I always do these live if you want to join me. It's every Tuesday, usually starting at 12. If not, I will tweet about it and tell you why I'm not starting quite yet. I'm usually pretty good about it, though. I'm getting better at it anyway. And that's thanks to my Patreon. If you guys could check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Rin. That's what makes these tutorials possible. And I'm going to keep practicing and working on it and learning stuff while I learn with you guys and help maybe teach some things too. I don't know if you guys are struggling a little bit. Maybe I can do some help for peoples. That's what I'm trying to do because school's expensive and I learned this the hard way. So anyway, so now I'm looking at that foot that I just showed you guys earlier. Miss Fluffy Cat, thank you for the follow. And welcome. Hello, hello. So, we got more kind of sausage tube stuff. I was pretty close. it looks like their foot actually kind of comes in a little bit. And fortunately Twitch does not like being very nice to me sometimes, so I apologize for anyone who is loading and has to watch this later if they want to. I'm very, very sorry. So, alright. So I got bottom joint, like I said. It looks like there's actually kind of this going on. Got like this, and it looks like you put most, if you think about it, you put most of your pressure on this side, and the arch kind of comes up like this. In that well, you know, in that area it goes up. So you put most of your pressure on here while your toes kind of balance you out, right? And then this person's toes actually swerve out like this. Make lines, lots of lines. Look for things that connect, like I was saying, like, okay, these toes go like this, right? There's lines here, there's lines here. We've got this going on, we've got that going on. Start making connecting stuff. Like, that's the best way I can make sense of things and how perspective will actually come in for you later. This person's toes kind of go like this. And then you'll kind of get how the rest of them go. So they have this area that they put pressure on. Welcome, Knight! What's up, babe? So, alright, so I got like one pressure point here and one pressure point here that you can kind of really see a little bit in the middle here, but it's mostly on these two, I'm seeing. So, and then kind of move down into here a little bit. You can really see where the pressure's been put on, and then it's kind of relaxed here. I'll just kind of scribble everywhere, kind of getting the idea. This toe actually kind of moves in a little bit on this person's foot. Again, guys, if you really want to get good at stuff, if you really want to practice things like this, look, you guys say that I'm all good and everything like that. Sure, I appreciate it, but I even have to go back and practice this stuff because I don't understand feet. And that's what I'm doing. I'm here doing a tutorial with you guys today to go over feet because I need the practice too. This person has a really big gap between their big toe and then their toe after that, so. For brushes, I would really recommend for sketching doing a brush that you feel comfortable with that has a really kind of rough edge. I love this brush because I can erase and draw with it very well, and it makes some really cool little textures. It really feels like I'm sketching. Bye, Ver. Thanks for joining, sweetie. I would really recommend that so that you can just kind of get really dirty and messy. Kind of like, a lot of the time when I was in school, they had me practice with charcoal. Because you could just mush stuff around and then draw back in and mush it around and erase and draw and erase and draw. And just kind of keep, you know, drawing kind of like that. So I would highly recommend a brush that you feel comfortable with that lets you just do that. Just get messy. Don't worry about anything right now. Don't try to make it perfect right away. It's gonna develop eventually as you're working on stuff. Okay, and I need kind of more of a bulge in this area. Da 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 da. And you can tell too, like, looking at this picture again, I just googled feet, guys, that's all I did. Be prepared, it's Google too, so, you know, things get scary on there. But, you know, this is the foot that I'm looking at. And, feet are just funky. I've always found them weird. But you can, you know, while looking at it, you can tell where pressure has been put, where you stand on your feet. Your toes hold a lot of your balance here. That's why they're flat. You know, you push off of them very frequently. Think of it in animation, too. Like, how do you run? How do you move? Think about it. Every time you walk, where you put pressure on your feet, that's going to kind of tell you where some of the stuff's coming from. So, I'm going to lower the opacity on this a little bit, kind of scribble in a little bit more. And yeah, as Ulrun was saying, you can do this with pencil too. You can do whatever medium you feel comfortable with. I just really found that charcoal or anything that comes kind of nice or close to with charcoal was just easier to kind of push around and play with. Like, you're a lot more forgiven, because if you go too hard or too deep with pencil, it ruins your paper. If you do pencil... pencil will ruin your paper. Charcoal, especially on the right weight of paper too, if you get just that, you know, newspaper stuff, man, it wiggles all over the place. You can do that, and then just hit erase and erase out what you're trying to draw instead of actually drawing with the charcoal. You can draw with your eraser. So... So, there we go. Not a perfect foot. Still could use some work. But hey, we're practicing. We're learning today. So, let's try using that again for something else. And again, guys, you'll want to check out, like, feet are all different. If you're looking for one specific kind of foot, most people have, or at least they'll draw, the kind of foot that has this shape to it, where the big toe is a little bit smaller than your actual, like, middle toe right here. Right? That's how a lot of people draw feet. But you can draw that however you want. If you look up, like, charts of feet, some people, like I said, this person had the big toe that was biggest, and stood out the furthest. Some people actually have these two toes that stand out, and then it comes out like that. It's really weird. Feet are bizarre, and you can actually have a lot of character with them. Even, you know, and then when you're starting to think about, say you've got an anthro kind of character, like one that stands on their hind legs, the same thing still kind of applies, right? So there's their calf, there's the upper thigh. Usually, if you've got really big feet for whatever anthro, it's still kind of the same thing. Here's their toes here. Their foot's just elongated. So this part right here is just what's elongated. The heel still stands, the ankle bone is still there. It's just weird getting them on proportion. Like Soraka, for example, from League of Legends. She walks funky because she's a freaking goat, and she's got like 4 joints going on here. It's quite bizarre. And how do you keep them, you know, balanced then? That's another thing we'll have to go over is hips and balance. I'm really bad with balance too. So, but that's basically it, guys. Practice your feet. Try to get an idea of what feels comfortable for you with these, what do I want to call them? These, well, they're just shapes. Literally, I just start making shapes out of everything. Once you can start thinking of everything in shapes, everything else is going to come to you. Like, the fine details come out later. You just need to get the shapes to get the perspective and the proportions down. And that's what I love, and I will keep saying that to the very end, is that when I finally started figuring out shapes and how shapes work in the human body and making connecting lines to these other shapes going on, you really start understanding a little bit more. And I love that. I really love that about art, is that it's almost mathematical in a way. Like, everything has a connecting line. Everything works in together. So let's get another foot in here. Let's do it this way now.
Just takes one small second just to realize it's all over and you're on your own.
La 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 la, feet. La 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 la.
Completely alone. You've got too much weight up on your back. Watching all the other ones run the attack, and your jealous eyes will take you and they'll make you insane. And I don't know what I got to do or what I got to do to get it through to you.
Ha ha, ha ha, very funny. Foots, feets. Yes, we're drawing feet. And then just start seeing, like, once you have the basics down of what feels comfortable for you for drawing feet, it should come fairly easy. Oops, except for I did that backwards. Ah. GG, Ski Rin, no reski. And usually what I'll say too is then you're like, oh, okay, well, I drew a foot. Now how do I draw it with a shoe? Well, just draw over top of the... Like, look up pictures of shoes. I found out looking at pictures of shoes really helps me because I do not design shoes. So leave the designing to people who actually design shoes. I will design characters. Now this weight feels weird. Person's more like kind of this angle with this foot. Ooh, look, and it kind of follows the line of this. This person's foot's really long. We've kind of turned this foot now. But yeah, these toes start to follow this line here. Haha, I'm checking out more connecting lines. Cool. Currently quickly responding to a question by Pan about my stream quality. Unfortunately, I don't have one. I wish I did, but I don't have a sub button for Twitch. Until I get partnered. But kind of got that in there. That toe usually crimps out a little bit. Cool, I made a foot. Yay! I learned defeats today, and hopefully I helped you guys a little bit too. Let's do the other side. Like, we're drawing the outside of the foot, so the little toe will be here. Right, so this is someone's outside foot. Yeah, the outside of their foot. Right, so we got that. Move that around. Got big toe. All right. ankle in there. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I think I need to pull that back more. Like, I'm making the foot too long. I need to be able to pull this back a little bit more, because it's almost like we stand on tiptoe, but it's not quite that because we have our heel also giving us support. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I'll have these toes raised a little bit so you can kind of see the under. I like that. Person's just about to set their foot down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't lose count of how many toes you have too. I've done that before and I'm like, hey, I've suddenly have 6 toes. Interesting. Whoop. Whoop. Boop, boop, boop. Sweet! I'm making feet! Look at that. You can flip it too, make sure that your proportions are still kind of adding up. This one's still not quite all that right. And actually, I think I missed the arch, that's why, because I'm on this side. Yep, I missed an arch, which leads into that heel. This person's kind of stretching their foot out a little bit too, or I just have my too long foot. That's kind of what it's feeling like. And then you have this joint here that can literally move back and forth. So now suddenly this person is like that instead. Hey, cool. Yeah, guys, think about joints too. Anything that you have a joint, put a circle on, and that way you can move your other object as if it's on, like, welds right to this point. So on that point, this can move back and forth here and make a foot. See? Now it can go like this. Or it can go like this. Ooh, look at that. Shiny. I'm making feet. I'm so proud of myself. I'm making feet. Yay! So there you have it. Quick tutorial today. Just for Tutorial Tuesday. Turn my music down a little bit. I love Fox Davidson though. Fantastic person if you guys haven't heard of his stuff before. Anyway, there you have it, guys. There's feet for today. Next week on Tutorial Tuesday, I'll do a quick little tutorial, I think, on hands, and then we'll move to, actually, no, we'll do hips first. We'll do hips and then hands, because that's something I need to practice on, definitely. One's phalange is hard stuff, and I think figuring those out will really help with your proportions overall, with learning perspective. Because again, guys, all these shapes and stuff like that, if you can start applying that to everything in the human body, it's really gonna fix stuff for you. It's gonna help you out. It's gonna keep you moving, and you're gonna start learning how to put all of these items into space. And then you can make a big box about how you want your perspective to be, and then you can draw everything inside this box about how you know where all of these circles and squares and triangles are going to apply to stuff, so that you can make it. And you can put it where you want to in space, and then suddenly you have a human body, and then you can start hammering out the details, adding clothing on top of it, seeing how motion applies to it, everything, and it really starts helping. Helps for animation, helps for illustration, helps for everything, and it's something that I'm still learning a lot, still practicing a lot of, and I'm trying to get better at. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment on YouTube. You can message me on Twitter. You can message me on Twitch. Anywhere. I've got tons of places that you can message me and contact me at. Things you want me to go over. I have a lot of requests right now, like coloring, perspective, body parts, like I said, where we were going to go over hips and hands and all that jazz. So anything you guys need, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you on Twitch for when I draw normally or play video games. I will see you around on Twitter if you guys want to bug me there. Whatever you guys, come say hi. Okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.